Hey everyone, this is Sean from DroidMedic.com. Today we're going to be reviewing the iTriage app that's available for free on the Android market. Unfortunately, the name's a little deceiving because this app has absolutely nothing to do with triaging patients. But moving on, it is a pretty handy app, mostly for patients, but it does have some use in the EMS field as well. Basically, what this app is supposed to do is be like a reference tool or a way to find a hospital or look up medical problems, kind of like something you'd find on WebMD. But I'm going to go through it and show you a little bit on how it can be useful to you as an EMS professional. Alright, well basically you can see the layout here. It's got a basic search area here. You can pretty much search for anything. It can be a disease or a medication or um, looking for a hospital or whatever. Um, and then the next thing that we're going to cover is the find medical treatment. Now, I'm going to go ahead and select this. Bear with me here because I'm actually streaming this from my phone to my computer, so it's going to look like it's lagging a little bit. Unfortunately, they've made it a little bit harder to do screencasts on the Android emulator with apps that you download, so this is kind of what I've had to resort to, at least until I find something better. So bear with me here. Okay, so we've selected, we're going to find treatment. Gives you an option to either look at your current location, or you can just put in an address. I'll just go ahead and put in the location. So it'll pull my GPS. It'll figure out where I'm at, and then it'll give me some options here. So as you can see up on top, the emergency department section. This is probably the only one that we would probably use as EMS professionals. You can select it, and it will come up with a list of hospitals in your area. Unfortunately, looking at this, looking at the list of apps, the list of hospitals, it's missing a few that are in my area. I'm not really sure what that's about, and I've used other apps that have this feature, and they've been able to find every hospital. So I'll see if I can figure out what the problem is there and post an update for everyone. But you can basically just select the hospital, and it'll bring up a map, or it'll give you an option to navigate to it. So we'll go back. Everything else here would mostly be for patients. I guess if you had a patient that refused treatment and you wanted to direct them towards an urgent care or their doctor or something like that, you could look it up on here, but I don't think we'd get much use out of that. Alright, so we're going to go back to the home screen. Find a doctor. This is pretty much just like the feature we just saw, only this categorizes the physicians by their specialty. So you can scroll up and down here, like if we wanted to find let's see, a cardiologist, you can select, and it will bring up a list of cardiologists in your area, and it sorts it by the closest. Scroll back. Alright, this feature here is kind of nifty. I don't know that we'd get much use for it in the field, but I guess if you wanted to use it as a reference material or a study material or whatever, you could use this. You can look up symptoms here. This is also something similar to what you'd find on WebMD. You can either scroll through and look at all the different conditions or symptoms, rather, or you can just type it in. So if we wanted to look for chest pain, not cheek pain, chest pain, and you can just select it and it'll tell you what the possibilities are. Kind of nifty. Don't know that we'd get much use for it or that it'd actually do us any good, but it's not a bad tool to have. One thing that I think would be pretty neat, haven't had an opportunity to use this yet, is research diseases. Fortunately, pretty much every medical Android app out there has a feature somewhat like this, so I don't know that this would be the first one that I would grab if I wanted to look up a disease that someone had, but who knows. Um, just like the symptom checker, you can go through here and either just select one, like if we want to look up alcohol intoxication. You can pull up a description here, I'll tell you a little bit about it, look up the symptoms. That could be pretty handy. Um, Tests, treatment, that could be handy. Images is kind of interesting. I don't know if this one's going to pull anything up. Some of the ones I pulled up earlier did, yeah. I think what this does is pretty much just does a Google search. I don't think this is actually saved on the phone. And then you can select videos, although that just pulls up a YouTube search and brings you to the YouTube website and does a search for alcohol intoxication. Not exactly uh, what I'm looking for in this app, but whatever. Alright, let's scroll back here. This one's pretty handy if you have a patient that you're taking on a transfer, like to do, like an MRI or some type of surgery or whatever. You can select the different procedures here, and it'll tell you a little bit about it. So, like, have a patient that has a question about an abdominal ultrasound, or you just want to look at it, build your memory bank a little bit. Kind of same thing as the medical conditions. It's got a description, what kind of specialist will perform the procedure, possible complications, cost. That's an interesting one. Let's see. And same thing that we saw before, images, videos, advice lines, web search, medical websites. All handy stuff. That's pretty much this app in a nutshell. As far as whether or not I'm going to use this in the field, I don't know. I guess finding the closest hospital would be a handy feature, but I've found some other applications that do it better, so I don't know that this would be it. For patients, I think this is great, but not so much for us. Anyway, this has been my review of iTriage. It's a free application available on the Android market. If you'd like, you can read my written review on droidmedic.com. Also, for more reviews like this, keep coming back to this channel or visiting droidmedic.com. My name's Sean, and you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.